and former President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Fidel V. Ramos, sir. The Military Bishop and Military Ordinariate of the Philippines, Most Reverend Bishop Leopoldo Tumula. Members of the Diplomatic Corps, we have here from the United States His Excellency Philip S. Goldberg. From Turkey, Her Excellency Esra Kankur. Our National Security Advisor, General Hermogenes Esperon Jr., sir. Former Chiefs of Staff, Congressman Rodolfo Biazon, Ambassador Defensor, sir. Yusek Emmanuel Bautista, sir. General Ricardo David Jr., sir. General Victor S. Ibrado, Mamista General Hernando D.C.A. Riberi, and wife Agnes, the new Chief of the Philippine National Police, Police Director General Ronald De La Rosa, officials from the Department of National Defense, Major Service Commanders from the Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Eduardo Año, and wife Jean. With him, his staff and other generals and key officers of the Philippine Army, the Flag Officer in Command, Philippine Navy, and Vice Admiral Cesar Tacad, and wife Jocelyn, and their staff. Also, our MISTA, the Commanding General of the Philippine Air Force, Lieutenant General Edgar Fallurina, and wife Erica. Also a MISTA, the Commandant of the Philippine Coast Guard, Rear Admiral William Melad, and Mrs. Janet Melad. Unified Commanders, the Commander of the Northern Luzon Command, Lieutenant General Romeo Tanalgo. From Western Mindanao Command, Lieutenant General Mayoralgo de la Cruz. From Eastern Mindanao Command, Lieutenant General Ray Leonardo Guerrero. From Western Command, Rear Admiral Ronald Joseph Mercado. The Commander of Joint Task Force NCR, Brigadier General Apolinario Aloba. The Deputy Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Major General Salvador Melchor Mison Jr. Members of the Joint Personnel and Special Staff, and Commanders and Chiefs of AFP-wide support and separate units and their ladies. May I greet also my friends from Mindanao, the Governor of Basilan when I was the brigade commander in the said province, and now a Congresswoman, Honorable Jum Akbar. The Mayor of Tacurong City, Sultan Kudarat, Mayor Lina Montilla. From Lanao del Norte, the former Mayor of El Salvador, Sultan Johnny Tawan-Tawan. With him are his three sons, Mayor Hasanor Tawan-Tawan, Attorney Mohammad Nabil Mutia, and Al Jeffrey Mindalano. My friend from Cagayan de Oro City, Mr. Henry Chiu. And also, Mr. Mike Salvador. From Bukidnon, the Mayor of Kalilangan, Bukidnon, Honorable Mora Haji Pizarro. From the Bicol region, we have here the Governor of Camarines Norte, Governor Edgardo Tallado, Engineer Nelson Mandes, Mr. Jun Lu, Mr. Nat Uy, and Nielsen Uy. From the Southern Tagalog region, we have here the Mayor of Lucena City, Mayor Roderick Dondon Alcala, the Mayor of Tayaba City, Mayor Ernida Reynoso, officers, men, and civilian employees from the Southern Luzon Command. Likewise, may I greet my friend from Lipa, Batangas, Engineer Elmer Garchola. May I also greet our Mayor from Baccaray, Ilocos Norte, Mayor Nico de la Cruz. My family, relatives, friends from the media, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. With the permission of the Commander-in-Chief, Troop Commander, give your men tikas pahinga. Tikas! Ha! As I take on the responsibility of leading the 130,000 strong men and women of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, I will begin my journey by giving back all the praises and glory to our Lord God Almighty. I firmly believe that all momentous events such as these are designed by the author and finisher of our faith. We can only move forward to claim our destiny with divine grace and providence. With utmost humility, I also express my deepest gratitude to our Commander-in-Chief, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, sir, for his trust in my ability to lead the Armed Forces of the Philippines in a time of change. Mr. President, maraming salamat po. My sincerest admiration also goes to the outgoing Acting Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Glorioso V. Miranda, and all the officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines for shielding our men and women from partisan politics during the recently concluded national and local elections, and all our personnel for staying on course in a period of leadership transition. Honor is also due to my loved ones and relatives who are always there for me. My mother, Maria Corazon Ramoran Visaya, and my late father, Rogelio Velasco Visaya. Thank you for the gift of life and for sacrificially guiding me to always do my best in everything I have set out to accomplish in my life's journey. To my brothers and sisters who always stand by my side, whether in moments of triumph or in sadness. To my loving wife, Mildred, my eldest son, Melvin, and his wife, Chana, my first grandson, Owen, my only daughter, Vichy Maricar, and my youngest son, Raymond. Please stand up to be recognized. You are the source of my strength. No words can best describe your personal sacrifices, untiring support, and understanding as I continue to face the changes of my military service and as we work together to keep our family intact despite all odds. To the members of PMA Matigas class of 1983 and their ladies, please stand up. Members of the Free and Accepted Masons of the Philippines, please stand up. My high school classmates at BNCSS, please stand up. And also from the Banahaw Golf Club and the Alpha Omega Fraternity, please stand up. the officers and men of SOLCOM and all its OPCON units, to all of you, thank you very much. May I also thank the following senior officers who are now retired, who guided me and who have great influence in my military career. General Hermogenes Peron Jr., my division commander at the 7th Infantry Division. Lieutenant General Gregorio Camiling Jr., my 1st Battalion commander in Surigao del Sur. General Alfonso Daguda, sir. Brigadier General Dionisio Santiago. Lieutenant General Romeo Dominguez. Lieutenant General Edilberto Adan, now the President of the Association of Generals and Flag Officers. Lieutenant General Pedro Cabuay Jr., Lieutenant General Romeo Tolentino, Lieutenant General George V. Segovia, Lieutenant General Ricardo Reinier Cruz, and Brigadier General Edmunda Birillon. Sa inyong lahat, maraming salamat din sa malaking bahagi na inyong ginampanan sa paghubog ng aking katauhan na nakatulong ng lubos upang aking marating ang kinalalagyan ko ngayon. In my younger years, I witnessed the excesses and abuses of the military force. This gave me the thought then of donning a military uniform, not really to be a general, but just to be an instrument of change. Instead of sitting idly and watching the force slide farther from mediocrity to infamy, I have to be an active part in making our organization a disciplined and professional institution worthy to be proud of. So from the time that I graduated from the Philippine Military Academy and started off my career in the Army, personal gains and selfish interests were way out of the equation. I simply did my best every step of the way, just like what my parents had taught me earlier. Thus, reaching this far is truly a blessing. I had my own share of troubles in my rise up the ladder of command and leadership. My firm position on some issues may have put my career on the line and in many instances, but I was not bothered as long as I stand on solid ground with my principles intact. I may have been embroiled in numerous cases and my service reputation was besmirched by malicious allegations of human rights violations. I just considered these unfounded accusations and fabricated stories as indispensable reaction of some misguided quarters to my effective action and no-nonsense performance of duty. Nonetheless, legal institutions dug deeper into those accusations and all were dismissed after tedious judicial proceedings. Such allegations were proven to be mere instigations, not only to malign me, but the whole military institution too. This gave me the renewed drive to be more resolute in accomplishing my mission, as I have committed to lift the name of the military from the quagmire of inefficacy. But my trek through the perilous path of the military service was not all pitfalls and blind curves. When I survived a helicopter crash on August 7, 2014 in Marawi, Lanao del Sur, I knew then that it was God's intervention to set me into further motion. My mission became clearer as I started to embrace divine plan above human understanding. It was another blessing to be given a second chance to rise up and prove further my worth. We are now in our final push as we approach the culmination of the internal peace and security plan bayanihan by the end of this year. By stroke of fate, the 6-month duration also coincides with the beginning of a new era of change as we lay down the bedrock foundation for security and defense under the new administration. It is in this context that I set the direction of our force following our Commander-in-Chief's paradigm shift in military operations. Change will be felt as we impact on the life of our nation by the way we conduct our internal security and territorial defense operations, by the manner we assist law enforcement agencies in their fight against terrorism, drugs, and criminalities, and by our timely humanitarian assistance and disaster response under the banner of genuine transformation. The AFP will continue to embark on a people-centered approach as we involve even various rebel factions in our aim towards nation building. We will support the expanded peace process with rebel groups and participate in consensus building so we can already proceed forward in unity and harmony with our fellow Filipino citizens. Our impact in far-flung communities and even in urban centers will be felt as we gear for peace, as we shun hatred and fear, and as we slowly break down the barriers of animosity and bigotry that have gripped our nation for decades. But we will be unrelenting in our focused military operations against terrorist groups like the Abu Sayyaf group and all its allied terrorist cells. We will realign military resources to their identified bailiwicks and sanctuaries and apply our military strength to suppress them, hunt them down, and finish them. We will continue to apply the full force of the law 24/7 to go after these criminals and profit-seeking elements who operate under the guise of religious fervor and holy war. To realize this, the AFP will rethink our armament acquisition program to further beef up our capacity and capability to search and engage these rogue and lawless elements. Over and above our role to run after the terrorists, we will also intensify our support to law enforcement agencies, particularly the Philippine National Police and the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, in their vision to eliminate widespread criminality and the wanton destruction of lives brought about by the spread and abuse of illegal drugs. We will start the same advocacy within our ranks by continuously weeding out those scalawags who use drugs, who have links with illegal groups and activities. Then we will proceed to build alliances with our counterparts to bring down syndicates and other organized crime groups. On matters of territorial defense, we will abide by the political, legal, and democratic processes to settle issues and support national policy to strengthen our position in the regional and global area. The AFP will rationalize our relationship with our allies in order to strengthen our military ties with them, while at the same time prioritize the interests of our force and our nation. Our modernization initiatives will also be refocused on rebuilding our internal war-fighting capabilities to run after internal security threats and support law enforcement operations. These aspirations can only be achieved in a security landscape that is firmly grounded on regional peace and amity with all of our neighbors in the region. From a change perspective of regional cooperation, we will have no fear of widespread confrontation, and we can shift to more pressing roles such as humanitarian assistance and disaster response. Our country, being situated in the Pacific Ring of Fire, has recorded more casualties and devastations brought about by national disasters and calamities than in almost half a century of insurgency. Hence, we will consolidate and ready our forces to become first responders and take proactive roles to protect our environment and mitigate the effects of climate change. We will then enhance our efforts to work closely with other agencies, non-government organizations, and the private sector to firm up our mechanisms to realize these advocacies. With the advent of genuine reformation, we will improve individual soldiers' competencies, not only in combat, but also in other priority programs of the new administration. As I always intimate to our troops in my numerous field visits, we must instill in ourselves the desire to excel in all our endeavors and to continue our quest for excellence even beyond the call of duty. Every soldier is a fighter, a law enforcer, a rescuer, and above all, a reformed man. In all this, the AFP will always be guided by the principles of transparency, accountability, and adherence to human rights, international humanitarian law, and the rule of law. These values will never be lost despite massive change in the way we think and operate. Therefore, the AFP will continue to seek the support and cooperation of the whole Filipino nation as we aggressively pursue the path towards transformation. As change is coming, we will first embrace it from within and then help others so we can all create a societal order that is anchored in a platform of discipline and unity. To the gallant men and women of the armed forces of the Philippines, as public servants and professional soldiers, we are bound to follow the chain of command and the duly constituted authorities. Let us strictly adhere to the supremacy of civilian authority over the military. Let us join hands as we face a new beginning for our military institution and for our beloved Filipino nation. Fellow soldiers, our countrymen have already spoken. Our new Commander-in-Chief is willing to invest in the unification of all Filipinos, to extend the hand of peace, to end armed conflicts, to end the permission of illegal drugs and all facets of our society, to reduce crimes and stop corruption in the government service, and to lead us all to our redemption as a Filipino nation. Sa aming mahal na Pangulo, makakaasa po kayo na ang buong sandatahang lakas ng Pilipinas ay kaagapay ninyo upang may sakatuparan ang inyong mga adhigain para sa kabubuti ng ating inang bayan at ng buong sambayanang Pilipino. I now call upon the men and women of the Armed Forces of the Philippines within the bounds of our mandated task. Let us work together under a strong chain of command against those who will attempt to undermine our solidarity and commitment to serve and protect our country and people. Mabuhay ang Kawal Pilipino. Mabuhay ang sandatahang lakas ng Pilipinas. Mabuhay po tayong lahat. Marami pong salamat.
Thank you very much, General Visayas, sir.
Sampanaw! Ha!
The guest of honor will be introduced by the Secretary of National Defense, the Honorable Delphine N. Lorenzana.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Kindly sit down, thank you. Troop Commander, give the order of Tikas Pahinga. Tikas! Ha! Tikas. Ha! The Vice President Leni Robredo. This is my first time to meet you personally. I would have preferred to be seated beside you, but andyan si Defense. President Fidel V. Ramos, the first Filipino who journeyed to Davao City to ask me to run for public office and presidency. And he said to me, you run because it is high time that Mindanao should have its president. Maraming salamat sa iyo, sir. Secretary Delphine Lorenzana, we were together in Davao many years ago. And, well, of course, that is why I chose him. Kasi yung kilala ko. Yung iba, hindi ko kilala. So, Lieutenant General Glorioso Miranda, sir, please sit down, sir. Napapahiya ako. Bishop Leopoldo Tumulak, the members of the diplomatic corps, major service commanders, and the men and women of the armed forces of the Philippines, members of the foreign armed forces attaches, fellow workers in government, my beloved countrymen. Alam mo, the first job of a president is not to go to war, but rather to bring peace to his land. So even before I was already proclaimed, but before assumption of office, I was busy going around Mindanao and talking to a lot of people to bring about peace in our land. Started with the left and with the NPAs, and we got a favorable answer from the leaders, including Maria Sison, Jose Maria Sison. Alam mo, it was in the 1970s na nakinig ako kay Maria Sison, Jose Maria Sison, talking about revolution. And I was then in the AB and half of it, well, of course, sa College of Law. And I am now 71 years old, and the Communist Party is still talking of a revolution. Kaya sinabi ko sa kanila initially, anong gusto ninyo sa bayan natin? I was a student, ako lolo na ako ngayon, at naging presidente pa. I don't know really why. You have to supply the answer. Maybe President Ramos can give us an idea. Well, we got this favorable response from the outside, and we started to talk. I went to the camp of Murad and started to talk to the Central Committee and Jafar. And since Noor is a friend of mine, and I said, Noor, we're about to go. Matanda na tayong dalawa. Are we still going to fight at this time? My job is to bring peace. My job is to talk to the enemies of the state, to the Communist Party of the Philippines, to the MILF, and to the men, and see if I could make a difference in our lives. Alam mo, hindi ko sinali ang Abu Sayyaf neither dito o sa criminal campaign natin, because the Abu Sayyaf is closely connected with the issue of Mindanao. Originally, mga tao sila ito ng MN, pati mga anak na yung MN ngayon, pati MI. And that was where the futility they saw in the Mindanao issue. Simply stated, they're claiming the historical right and more privileges for them. And I cannot blame them. You know, when Magellan landed in Leyte in 1521, bringing Christianity with him and propagated it everywhere in the Visayas and Luzon, 100 years before, Sulu area and some parts of Mindanao were already Islam. And that is why a lot of the historical planners never really took into the consideration that there was this oppression by a series of government na hindi kanila. And they think that until now, we are trying to repress them. And I said to them, you know, you cannot drive us away anymore. Kagaya ko at pati yung mga anak ko, half of us are really Moro already. I have a branch of my family, my little boys and girls who are Moro. And so I behoves upon me, I think, to really look for the answer. And if I can hack it, and if I can talk to Maria Sison and bring about not a coalition government, an inclusive government, they are there already. And I said that just so long as the powers that would pertain to matters belonging to the police and the military, hindi ho sa inyo yan. But all others, the mundane matters of governance, I can give it to you. And we are talking. Next week, we're to talk to the MI, and eventually, I think I'll have to travel to Hulo to talk to Noor. I am willing to give them safe conduct passes, only the leaders, at baka matsambahan ko na magkaroon tayo ng mapayapa. And if that happens, really, I can retire happy and I can look back and say that I did my duty in nation building. It is not a war to be fought forever. We cannot fight forever. We might have the weapons, the armaments, and the bullets, but the mortars. But that does not make a nation. My job is to bring peace. But hand in hand, I must also bring order in my country. Alam mo, sa totoo lang, we can only take so much. I am not warning Abu Sayyaf, but I said there will always be a time for reckoning. When, well, just keep our fingers crossed. And I said we can only swallow so much. We cannot be the whipping boy of a few who want nothing but maybe money and power in their hands. And so also with the problem now, a very serious problem of the country. Saan ka nakakita dito ng gobyerno na ang trafficking ng drugs is being controlled inside the Bilibid prison? Sa atin lang. At parang sampal yan ng ilang beses. And how it came about into being is really, well, I would have said, in neglect. How can it happen na kung mag-inspection ka sa Bilibid, you have to ask permission from the idiots inside? Ay, nako. This is my first day. I'm warning them there. They have the TVs there inside. Kaya napasyal ako noon, pagpasok ko, I was there to see, I accompanied Pastor Kibuloy to pray over kay Webb, yung anak ni Webb, who was in Muntinlupa. At pagdaan ko doon sa death row, sabi, oy, Mayor, akala ko naman taga Davao. Sabi ko, ang rami niyong taga Davao na kulong ah. Sabi na, hindi, Mayor, mga Ilocano kami, halo-halo, mga waray. Nakikita ka namin sa TV. Well, the TV is there now. Magbilang kayo ng araw. Magbilang kayo ng araw. Sa ginagawa ninyo, do not be the solution of it all. May problema dyan, hinihiya ninyo ang gobyerno, sinasampal ninyo kami. Magbilang kayo ng oras. Ayoko ng araw. The drugs must be suppressed. It cannot be eliminated. For as long as the greed for money is there, the very corrosive effect of money has had an impact on our society. There are a lot of people, lives destroyed, using it. And noon, they were in the rural areas. Now they have reached the hinterlands. And they are getting the carabaos and the pigs and the chickens and the eggs. Well, nakikinig naman yung mga NPA, nasa pwesto pa naman kayo. Ano kaya yung korte nito, ang korte ninyo na, I don't know if it's a kangaroo or otherwise, pagpatay na lang ninyo para mas madali ang solusyon ng problema natin. Anyway, kung maengkwentro ninyo yan, it's always a crime committed in your presence. You do not shoot anybody just because you see them walking. But I know you have this validation. Kayo dyan sa bukid, tatapusin na ninyo yan. Mas mabuti, wala na rin kayong ginagawa. There's a slowdown in the fighting. Why should we be fighting? When as a matter of fact, I'm just awaiting for the arrival of season to talk to him. And maybe, just maybe, in the fullness of God's time, we can have peace amongst us. Yung mga droga ay malala. And I have to call in the armed forces of the Philippines to help. Sadly, gusto ko sanang ang inyong Board of Generals would be a vibrant entity within the organization. As I have promised, and as was my practice during my mayorship days, I never interfered kung ano ang trabaho ng police. I did not even want to entertain yung request for an assignment of a certain police officer in the barangays. I'd always tell them, go to the police director. I do not want to interfere in so. The best support that I can give you, and you can ask anybody, lahat yan sila ngayon nasa gobyerno, nagdala-dala ko. There once upon a time, city police directors. And, well, the performance was there. Lahat naman mababait at mahusay, except for a few. And in this our society now, nagbabaha yung droga, and drug lords, and the criminals. And there were a lot of Chinese citizens, Filipino or otherwise, kidnapped, ransom demanded, but they were never really returned. So tinapon lang nila kung saan, ilibing nila kung... These are the things that we have to stop. And that is why I said I would be harsh. Not cruel, but I would be harsh. And wala akong tolerance sa droga. Zero. So, yan ang laban natin ngayon. Kayong nagbakasyon dito from the fields in Mindanao and in the Visayas, you might want just to join the hunt for them. We will eliminate the drug lords once and for all. We have to stop this practice sa bilibid. Bitawan na ninyo yan o kainin na ninyo ngayon ang supply ninyo. Nawala na talaga ang pasensya ko sa inyo. Iniinsulto ninyo kami. Hinuling ko nga kayo sa Davao kasi nagluluto kayo ng Cebu. Hindi ko kayo pinatay dahil magalit ang human rights. Dinala ko kayo dyan sa Muntinlupa after conviction at pagdating dyan, nagluluto na naman ng Cebu. Anong klase? Noon, kasi hindi ako presidente. Ngayon, well, we'll just have to make some adjustment. You know, there is always a time for everything. There is always a time for you to make money and make a mockery out of our laws. There's always a time for you to be in control even if you are inside the prison. But there is always a time to rest and to die. Ganon ang buhay. As you are born, there's also death. I'm not threatening you. I'm just telling you that there is always a time. And for us, the security forces, the armed forces and the police, there is always a time. We can only take so much in so. We can only take so much hanggang kaya lang ng sikmura natin. Ako ay nasusuka na. And you have to help me put a stop. In the final days of the campaign at Luneta, I gave this statement, and I said, I will put at stake my honor, my life, and the presidency. Sinabi ko sa inyong mga kriminal, lahat kayo. If you destroy my country, I will kill you. If you destroy our children, I will kill you. if I am asked by anybody, including the Commission on Human Rights, I do not know you. Salamat po. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for your message, sir.
Sampanaw! Ha!
The audience may be seated. The new Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Lieutenant General Ricardo R. Visaya, will be presenting the AFP Coat of Arms to President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Armed Forces of the Philippines Coat of Arms, adapting the symbolism of the Philippine national flag. This coat of arms embodies the AFP's mandate to serve and protect Philippine democracy and freedom, a creed firmly upheld by each and every Filipino soldier. Presented to President Rodrigo R. Duterte, President of the Republic of the Philippines, by the officers, enlisted personnel, and civilian employees of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Thank you, sirs. We shall proceed with a pass and review.
Go. Ha! Pasamasid! Sa kanang balikat. Ha! Talupad. Unang talupad. Angat pasulong. Cut!
The President of the Republic of the Philippines is respectfully requested to stand at the center front for the pass and review. Today we witness the rites of passage in the leadership of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, with the new Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines, at the helm of the 125,000-strong soldiers, airmen, sailors, and Marines. As it continues to perform its mandate of preserving peace and development, the Armed Forces will fully support the new administration of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you the various contingents of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, ang mga makabagong katipunero, makadiyos, makakalikasan, makatao at makabansa. The parading contingent is led by Major General Angelito M. De Leon, his staff, Captain Mederico Celso, Colonels Timoteo Ferdinand Blasco, Eric Escarcha, Ferdinand Reboja, Alfredo Patarata, and Florentino Mendez Jr. Following the troop commander and staff is the AFP Composite Band under the baton of Petty Officer 1 Joel Signo. The 1st Brigade is headed by Brigadier General Anselmo Doroteo Hunsay. His staff, Commanders Ricardo Martin and Edwin Princilio, Lieutenant Colonel Zarina Mangubat, Glenn Michael Manansala, and Alexander Banatao. Following is the battalion from the General Headquarters led by Major Augusto Austria. His staff, Majors Noel Roque, Emmanuel Cuadra, and Danilo Chad Escandor, and Captain Marcelo Pasco Jr. These officers and men of General Headquarters and Headquarters Service Command share the popular concern in the sanctity of the constitutional processes and the safeguarding of individual liberties. They are the soldiers at the forefront of securing the AFP's headquarters and the National Capital Region. The Army contingent, represented by the Security and Escort Battalion under the command of Major Philip Aramilia, his staff Captain Ananias Blanco, First Lieutenant Arturo Satur Jr., Captain Ron Michael Soriao, and First Lieutenant Jose Martin Nuas. The Security and Escort Battalion is specially trained for area security and for rendering military honors to important personages and visiting dignitaries. The Angels of Mercy and the Guardians of the Philippine Skies, the Air Force Battalion led by Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Andrew Dimapilis. His staff, Majors Demidor Cruz, Louis Leander, Victirol, and Richard Dalag. Represented by the Philippine Air Force Gala Battalion, this unit conducts military honors and other ceremonial requirements of the Philippine Air Force. Next, we have the protectors of the Philippine Seas and the first line of defense to uphold our territorial integrity, the Philippine Navy. The battalion is under Commander Victor Ramos, his staff, Commander Limar de la Calzada, Lieutenant Commander Sherwin Opena, Herbert Estabilio, and Efren Cajepo. The Navy secures our territorial waters and conducts sea lift operations in support of our troops, performs mercy missions, rescue and relief operations during calamities, and protects our marine resources and environment. The audience is requested to rise for the passing of the colors. You may be seated as soon as the colors have passed. Thank you. The audience may be seated. The mass colors represent the different major services and AFP-wide separate and support units of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. The 2nd Brigade is headed by Commodore Robert Empedrad, his staff Lieutenant Colonels Rodel Martinez, Marvin Sufficiencia, Derek Ablog, Rahman Altre, and Raimundo Rosario. Trailing behind is the battalion from the Army Special Operations Command, headed by Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Jimenez. His staff Majors Aris Quinto, Honor Balanci, and Vilmor Manawis, and Captain Joffrey Fabros. The Special Operations Command is comprised of the elite forces of the Army, with the Special Forces, Scout Rangers, and the Light Reaction Regiment. Before you know is the Philippine Marine Corps Battalion headed by Lieutenant Colonel Tanaon Macaumbos. His staff Majors Dino Hudson Aznar, Faustino Austria, Wilfredo Hinito, and Eulalio de los Santos. A specially trained fighting unit of the Navy designed for rapid deployment, the Philippine Marines conduct amphibious counterinsurgency and special operations in all kinds of terrain and in any weather conditions. Following is the battalion from the 710 Special Operations Wing of the Air Force under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Ariel Mabiling. His staff, Major Patromino Cesar Olmilla, Captains Warren Bete, Dandy Giocampo, and Vincent Paclibar. The 710 Special Operations Wing conducts special operations for the defense of Air Force bases and installations and perform other contingency operations. In front of you now is a battalion of the AFP Peacekeeping Operations Center commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Roberto Huet, his staff Major Sherwin Monteron, Romeo Galabay, Reden Ochea, and Captain Chodorico Nicor. Being one of the original United Nations member states, the Republic of the Philippines has been committed to global peace and recognizes the UN Security Council to have responsibility under the UN Charter in maintaining international peace and security. It shared missions in Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Middle East, Golan Heights, East Timor, Liberia, Haiti, and in other areas. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just seen a segment of your armed forces pass before you. They represent our brothers and sisters out there in the field, defending our freedom and independence as well as our democratic institutions. The Troop Commander, Major General Angelito M. De Leon, will report the termination of this afternoon's ceremonies.
Kalupunan! Ho! Mahal na Pangulo, tapos na po ang palatuntunan. Harap sa kanan. Harap! Pasulong. Cut!
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the parade and review in honor of the President of the Republic of the Philippines and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, and the AFP Change of Command ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. We'd like to request everyone to please remain seated as the President leaves the grandstand. Once again, we'd like to request everyone to please remain seated as the President leaves the grandstand. We also would like to inform all attendees for the command conference are requested to proceed directly to the General Headquarters Conference Room for the command conference.